IRAs versus Roth IRAs. You can find a lot of material on the internet about this, and this is really where our bread and butter is made at the Financial Enhancement Group. And no other better individual to talk to you about the differences between IRAs and Roth IRAs than our managing director, partner, my partner in planning,
There.
Aaron Rheaume, to kind of go through what these are and really what we focus on when it comes to planning regarding your IRA and Roth IRA. So, Aaron, thanks for being with us always. Your
Yeah.
knowledge is indispensable, my friend. And so I'm going to have you dive in. No, our head first. What do we got here?
IRA versus Roth IRA. Thanks, Grant. In the most simplistic form, the question that you need to ask yourself is when do you want to pay the taxes? And so that is where we're going to start this conversation. An IRA is a tax deferred mechanism. So, meaning that you put money into it today, you pay taxes on it later in life, generally after 59 and a half, so you can avoid a 10% early withdrawal penalty. Now, the opposite to that is your Roth IRA. So the Roth wasn't really created until 1997. A lot of people didn't contribute to them until about 2007, when maybe 2010, when they lift the adjusted gross income restriction from $100,000. So they haven't become as prevalent until really the last decade or so. And so a Roth IRA is the ability to pay taxes on your wage today so that the account can grow tax free and your contributions are tax free and growth into the future. So, major difference is when do you want to pay the taxes? Do you want to defer them or do you want to pay taxes now so that at a later date you can pull money out of that account tax free? From a tax planning perspective, it gets into when do you start to defer versus when do you start to maybe pay the taxation. So, for those of you that may be just starting out in in your careers or just starting out in saving altogether, you really want to look at where your actual tax bracket is. And so, what we want to understand from a tax perspective is where do you fall on the stair step system that we have here in the United States? That is what we call our marginal rate system. And so, that first step is at 10%. Then we take a jump to 12, then up to 22, all the way up to 37%. So if you were in the 10 to 12% tax bracket, we would likely tell you to contribute to a Roth IRA. Now, disclaimer, everybody's journey is unique. Your own financial planning journey is unique. We're talking in a box here. If you were in that specific situation and you came into our office, we will want to evaluate it to make sure it makes the most sense. But if you're just starting out in a career and you're in the 10 to 12% tax bracket, it may make the most sense to contribute to a Roth IRA. Now, a couple things. Grant, I'm going to just elaborate on this just for a minute. There are some restrictions on IRAs and Roth IRAs from an income perspective. One of the restrictions on an IRA is if you have a qualified employer plan, then your contribution phases out, or your deductibility starts to phase out from an income standpoint. And in 2026, in an IRA, if you were to look at whether it's deductible or not deductible, you would want to make sure you're paying attention to that deductibility from an income limit standpoint. And so those change every year. Usually they start, and for 2026, it starts to phase out at roughly $129,000 of income. When you get into partial deductions, there's a phase out period between $129,000 and $149,000 of income. With a Roth IRA, there is also a modified adjusted gross income calculation that we have to look at. If you're married filing jointly and your modified adjusted gross income is below $242,000, you can contribute to a Roth IRA without any sort of restrictions. And so those are the reasons why we want to see a tax return in our office. We want to be able to understand your income. We want to be able to understand which accounts you can contribute to. And there are some restrictions on income limits. Just as a backup on that IRA number, that was also married filing jointly. So if you're a single filer, you would want to look at those income restrictions as well as a single filer. So from a different perspective, there are ways to get money into a Roth IRA if your income's too high. I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger with that. Book a meeting to come in because we use this strategy all of the time. So the only other difference, and then I'll turn it back to you, Grant, is there's a difference between your contributions inside of a Roth IRA and an IRA from a being able to withdraw standpoint. So with an IRA, any contributions that you make, if you withdraw those before 59 and a half, subject to a couple IRS deemed necessary events, you would be subject to a 10% early withdrawal penalty plus full taxation at your ordinary income rates. In a Roth, the contribution that you make to it, here in 2026, if you're under age 50, you can put $7,500 into that Roth IRA. That is what's considered basis. If you need access to those funds or your basis, you can withdraw that $7,500 worth of basis at any point in time. If you're under age 59 and a half and that basis is actually grown, you cannot access the growth without penalty until you're 59 and a half or older. And so there's some different nuances. You just want to make sure you're paying attention to all of them. And that's why people work with us, because we're a fiduciary and we understand all of the mechanics of how these contributions work.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you.
And Aaron, well done going through that. It is a lot. And folks, if you're sitting here thinking, holy smokes, this IRA and Roth IRA situation is definitely a lot more complicated than I assumed, you're probably thinking correctly. There's a lot of material that goes into understanding all of this, and then even more nuanced understanding of how it works to go into your individual situations. So if you're wanting to sit down and kind of talk through the complexities and figure out how, when you're going to pay the tax, when that makes the most sense for you as an individual, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our number is 800-928-4001. You can also ask some simple questions at talk2feg@yourlifeafterwork.com. Scan the QR code, which is available as well. And even more importantly than that, Aaron has done a lot of these videos. He's written a lot of blogs. He's composed a lot of articles on these topics. Everything from the basics that we're going through today to the complexities of conversions and qualified charitable distributions, Secure Act 2.0 rules, everything in between. And a lot of our team members have supported some of that data as well in our own writings. So please, please, please use the website, yourlifeafterwork.com, to get a lot of that material. But more importantly, we encourage you guys to come in and have a discussion, right? If you're working with our team members, those that of you are, know the value that we create in these discussions and these topics. And if you're looking to hiring a fiduciary planner, like Aaron stated, please, I would love to welcome that complimentary meeting with you to make sure we're a right fit for you and you're a right fit for our team. But again, love that we get this information out. Appreciate you digesting it. We hope to see you in the next one, my friends, and be well.